Yo, what's up, guys? It's your man Bob Rock here, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifter by a drifter. Um, Huge apologies, guys, for starting so late. Like I mentioned earlier, I had some work commitments right at the end, and right at the end of the day, and geez, it took me about an hour to finish off what I needed to do. The problem is that my job is like in another town, which is about 75 or so kilometers away. So it literally takes me an hour to get home, sometimes more than an hour. So and then had to sort out the kids and stuff. So life happens. So well, anyway, uh, let's forget about all of that, and let's enjoy the the next few minutes. Uh, Speaking on RC drifting and what's going on. So what's happening on your end of the world, guys? How was the weekend? You guys had a good weekend. Any drifting going on? I know SA was just full of excitement this weekend. It was crazy. It was lots of new things happening. Um, Couple competitions, some new additions to a new track. We had some old faces joining us at my track, and we also had a few more people joining us, which is awesome. Yo, what's up, Chester? What's up, Brad? Thank you guys for joining in. Please, if you don't mind, share the link when you can. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love for more people to join in the conversation and have a listen. Uh, with the show. So again, to the other guys who always who's just joined in, this is Bob Rock on the B Rock RC show. Um, hey Sandra, how are you doing? So nice to see you guys listening in. Again, I really appreciate the support in this new venture of mine, and so far so good. I've been getting some pretty good feedback from you guys. I've been getting some nice criticism as well. So I've been trying to implement that in the shows as well. Of course, I welcome all crits. Hey, Stephen, this guy here, the other Bob, this guy is just one awesome guy. We part of the same family, the Kamodi family. Shout out Kamodi, shout out Daniel. Um, yeah, and this guy has been very instrumental in helping me get up and running and helping me get my skills up. Hey, there we go. There's another Kamodi family member there. What's up, Eric? So yeah, it's been real good. It's been real awesome. Sup, Raymond? Thank you again for listening in, bro. Really appreciate it. So I wanted to get back to some of the topics that I wanted to speak on for today. Um, so as all of you guys know, that I'm from South Africa. I'm just one of the little specks in the RC drifting community here in South Africa, and all I try to do is just try to do my part here and support the local community first. My priority is always to support the local first, because that's that's who we engage with firsthand. That's who we go and drift with, and we go and socialize with. So I'm quite a big advocate on supporting local first before seeking out what I need from overseas. And I think that's an important lesson for everybody, is to support your local first. Like the saying, um, charity begins at home. Of course, it's not a charity, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. What I mean is that we need to take care of our own first before we want to take care of everybody else. Uh, just to answer Brad here, he asks, any future plans to come to the States to drift? Duh, of course, bro. We'd really love to visit the States. Actually, a lot of us from here want to visit the States. We want to come do drift at a few tracks there. Maybe, if, you know, we'd love to do a drift tour in the US. But the US is so big, and it's really going to be so expensive. We could probably only do like state and or or I don't know. Yeah, probably one state and sort of visit a few tracks in between there. But yeah, it'll be so awesome. Um, so back to what I was saying about supporting the locals. We want to do that first beyond everything else, because when you take care of your local and when you take care of your local community, that's all the people that's going to take care of you. So always remember that when you're supporting the local, you're not just uh, growing yourself. It's not just about yourself when you help out your local community. It's about everybody. It's about all of those guys who love this hobby and the sport so much, that we support each other and help each other, so that there's continuation of the hobby. So you gotta remember, support local first before supporting guys outside. There's so many talented people out there in your local community. There's guys who open a little hobby shop in the hopes of supporting the community, and so the community supports them back. So that's really important. You got to give back to the community. You got to take care of it. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but it's just to emphasize how much we need to take care of ourselves first before looking outside. The thing is, you don't want to arrive at a situation where your local track is closing down simply because there's no activity going on there. You don't have people going on there, and the reason why people are not visiting the track is because each person is for themselves and they want to go visit tracks from out of town, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. We need to also visit the other tracks so that we have an idea what's going on around the world, around you. Get more ideas, learn what's going on. But like I said, it's important that we support the local tracks and keep those running, because those aren't just places to drift, but it's also points of it's like a hub for this hobby and for people. And sometimes people just want to drift just to have that break away from everything that they're so caught up with. So again, it's you're not just helping yourself, you're helping your local community. So keep that up, guys. We wanna get that going. um like I mentioned in hey, what's up, bro? um so one of the things I wanted to talk about was, if you guys have seen my post earlier, was that I wanted to talk about what's going on in SA. So what was happening around the country during this past weekend. So I, I'll I'll start off with my town, my club. What's going on there? So every Sunday at our track, we all have a meet, which I hashtagged it Sunday session, because we start off from the mornings, say about 9, half past 9 a.m. till about 2, 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, um, and we just have a jam session. So everybody comes in, and uh, I try and put myself out there. What I tend to do is I try and set my car up. So if there's something that I've been lacking in my chassis, or lacking in my uh, with my car, that I want to see more, so I focus a little bit on that, tweak it here and there. I do one tweak at a time, do a couple laps, pull the car off, make another change, etc., etc., like that, until I'm happy. And then the rest of the time, I try and help out the guys who come who come to the track. Uh, Once again, I just want to give a shout out to all the guys who've just joined in. This is your man Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Thank you all for coming in and supporting this podcast. Um, I hope that I'm giving you guys a good show and interesting content, so that'll keep you entertained, as well as a little bit of knowledge. So, leave your comments. I always get back to all of the, well, I do my best to get back to all of the comments, but just know that I read all your comments. Um, so, yeah, uh, so back to our track. What happened this weekend was, last year we had a really, really bad year in terms of numbers, where we I w- I don't want to say lost drivers, but we had a almost a drought of drifters at our track. So I took the year to, or well, afterwards, I took my time to just focus on myself, get myself up and running, and focused on whoever made the attempt to join us and sort of reach out to me. I offered my help, and I still offer my help to share the knowledge that I gained at Worlds with everybody. So it was rough, but we stuck in there. And then this year, with our first few sessions and our first round of competition, we saw a lot of new guys come in. Well, when I say a lot, I mean like two or three. In Durban, it's quite a bit. But this past Sunday, we had a few returning faces, which was very encouraging. And it was one of those days where I can't remember the last time where it had been so busy. And it was amazing. It was fantastic. I was so, so happy to see so many people at the track. And more so because, uh, just to give you just a little bit of a background into the club, I, together with my friend Llewellyn, we founded the East Coast RC Drift Club, and currently I'm the president of the club as well. So, with that being said, to see so many people at the track yesterday, today is Monday, yeah, yesterday, it was just heartwarming, and it made me so happy, so, so happy. I really didn't have time to even express to the guys how happy I was to see so many people there. So it was pretty cool, pretty cool. And I think 2020 is going to be a bumper year for RC drifting. Um, Maybe who knows what's going to happen out there with, well, we all know that Worlds is not going to happen this year, but there's other competitions to look forward to as well. Not just Worlds will always be that one really special competition, uh, but keep in mind, guys, that there's other competitions out there. TDC, Yokomo Drift Meets, the D110 events around Europe, um, the new, well, I won't say new, but the comps running in the US at the moment, and the meet and greets. So please join in those competitions. Um, So back to what's going on in and around SA this past weekend. Let me go to Joburg now, Johannesburg, the economic hub of SA, and also where a lot of exciting things are happening at the moment. So, towards the end of last year, we had the emergence of a new indoor drift track. It's a polished, I think it's polished concrete, but it's a concrete indoor drift track, and the guys there have done an amazing job building that track so quickly and getting a nice group of guys, a nice group of drifters going in and supporting that track. So that certainly has helped to grow the numbers and grow the hobby and keep the hobby going up in Joburg. Um, the other exciting thing happened this weekend was the new additions to the EDC drift track, so the Edenvale drift circuit. Uh, that's also fairly new. The guys have done a phenomenal job on that. So at the moment, they're just putting a roof over the track. So that's certainly going to add a new dimension to the track in terms of the the surface, because previously it was open to the sky. So the temperature and the sun obviously had an effect on the surface in terms of consistency. We have a similar problem with our track in Durban, but I must admit that hot or cold, there's not a vast difference with the surface. But uh, be that as it may, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, EDC is doing some really exciting stuff, and we're looking forward to hitting that track later on in the year. The SARC Drift Nationals, and that's going to be held at the Drift Trap, which is Vivian's home track. And of course, all you guys know Vivian, um, and he did a really amazing job with his track at the time when he built it. A lot of effort went into the track, and designed in such a way that you can you can mark out multiple tracks on that one space, which is more than I can say for our home track. Our home track is pretty much set, but Vivian's track, the drift trap, you can do a lot of different routes, a lot of different tracks there. So that's going to be interesting to see what they come up with for nationals. I'm sure that it's going to be a bit more tricky and a bit more difficult because of the level of drifting that's happening in SA at the moment. And guys, let me tell you something. Um, the level of RC drifting in SA right now is rising at an incredible level. So, uh, when it comes to RC drifting globally, South Africa is the place to be. This is the time. This is the place. SA is on the map, guys. Let me tell you something. The level of drifting in SA is rising, and we are gonna be right up there with the top names, with the top guys. As it is, I'm sure you guys have seen last year where our guys have done so incredibly well. Cisco with that with the top 8 position, Vivian with the number 1 position in the best body, as well as finishing in the top 20, or was it 24? Was it top 24? So he's done really well, guys. Excuse me.
That burger is for you or mommy?
I'm sure you guys heard that. It's for her. Sorry about that. And thanks, guys, for tuning in to the B Rock RC show. So, yeah, like I was saying, Vivian finished, what's it, top 20? Or was it top 25? I'm sorry, Viv. Really, I really am sorry. But Vivian, it was the first time Vivian had been to Worlds as well, and he had done incredibly well. Impressed everybody there. Same with our guy Ziad. He had finished off quite high. Same with Richard, has done incredibly well. I sort of scraped my way through it there, but I was not 100% happy with the result, but looking back at the videos and just remembering how I drifted, I think I did okay. I think I did okay. Not as good as I hoped, but okay. So yeah, that's what's going on in Joburg. So the guys have actually postponed their round one to finish off the construction of that roof over the track. So yeah, guys, SA is on fire at the moment in terms of RC drifting. We it's an incredible place to be right now. So you guys really want to try and make your way to the drift nationals here, guys. You will be pleasantly surprised if you guys 19th. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I'm so sorry, bro, really. But I promise you, now that you told me, I'm never gonna forget it. I won't forget it. Again, thank you guys for to the guys that just joined in. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about what's going on in SA in terms of RC drifting. So the next place I want to go to is Cape Town. These guys are doing an incredible job with RC drifting at the moment as well. Their level of drifting is very different. It's high, but I don't think I use the right word there. It's the level of drifting is high, but the way they operate is also quite different to the other regions when it comes to drifting and how they approach and their culture to RC drifting. So earlier on, I was talking to Robin, who's a big driving force behind the culture of RC drifting down in Cape Town. Um, he's also one of the very knowledgeable guys in RC drifting. Um, and to me, he's also a bit of a straight shooter and also quite opinionated when it comes to RC drifting. And I mean that in a good way. It's not meant to offend Robin, but for me, he's highly opinionated, and I do value his opinions and his advice. Um, so they were mentioning about. So I asked him like, oh, so what's going on with the competition there now, and what are you guys doing about it, and how are you going about it? So um, it was very interesting to listen to what he had to say when it came to round one and how they designed the track. So a lot of thought went into designing the track for the first round. So the idea and the concept behind it was to actually cut down uh, on the speed of drifting. So I found that interesting. So I just read on with his reply, and we know that the current trend for drifting is to be quick. And in Cape Town, I believe that the guys also like a bit of speed in their drifting. So what was happening was that um, guys, they had a misconception that speed equals win equals better drifting, and so on and so forth. Hey, what's up? What's up, brother? What's up, Asad? Thank you guys for listening in. So yeah, the guys had this misconception and this misunderstanding that speed equals a better drift. If I lead and I speed up, it means I'm running away, it means I gain proximity, and it means I win. But there's no fun in that. And it just seems like they wanted to do away with that idea that speed means something good. So that was part of the concept behind the way they designed their track. And the other reason was they wanted to encourage guys to tandem more, so to force guys to get in the door of the opponent. So which I thought was very very nice. And so the results of that was that uh, although they didn't achieve as many tandems as like close tandems what they wanted, the general the general um, effect that it had was that guys were focusing more on the performance of the car rather than focusing on the speed, and it was encouraging them to concentrate more and be more attentive to the track and what the car is doing and get around the track according to the proper line, and hitting the boxes and getting in the door. So I thought that was amazing, amazing. Um, hey Stefan, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So another new concept that Cape Town had introduced was sort of a drift booklet. Um, I don't want to go into that too much, but basically what it's about is that it's almost like a manual for drifters, and also a few pages there to write down the setup and a whole lot of other useful information. So there's two reasons why I don't want to get into that more. One is I don't have the booklet, so I can't really comment just yet. And well, actually, that's the only reason. Yeah, so that booklet seems very, very interesting. I'm very keen, very curious to see what it contains. So I think it's a good initiative. The reason why I wanted to bring that up was I think it's a good initiative, and from Robin himself, who's been in the game for over 10 years. Um, and bringing in a whole wealth of information and knowledge with that. So for him, and this is what I took from what he said, for him to say something like he wishes he had that kind of a booklet or manual when he started drifting. Uh, so that really tells a lot for what the new generation of drifters can expect from guys who are experienced, passing down the knowledge. So again, I think I spoke about that in my other podcast where we spoke about passing on the knowledge. So this is just one of those things. This is just one of those things. Also, I don't know how you guys operate in terms of judging in the other parts of the world, but for a long while now in SA, we don't have independent judges. We don't have set dedicated judges who will be there and judge a run. So when it came to scoring of the runs, we used to have, or sometimes we still do, but more so in the past, we used to have a very inconsistent judging in terms of scoring. So what Cape Town has introduced was set judges. So their sole job is just to judge. They're not participating in the drifting. Whereas previous years we had guys who would drift and judge and score. So yeah, I know, it's a bit hectic, but we did what we need to do at the time. So I think this year is going to be interesting, where we have a couple of set judges there, and it's going to be very cool. So a message to the drifters in South Africa, all my RC drifting friends and followers and guys who love RC drifting in SA, please do me a favor. This year, 2020 SARC Drift Nationals happening at the Drift Trap in Pretoria. Please, from now, it's a plea that I'm making with you. From now, start saving and get yourselves to the nationals. I promise you, it will be the best experience you will ever have. In terms of knowledge and your upskill, it's almost instantaneous. You will see yourself pick up skill levels overnight. If you think you're good now at your local track and you haven't been to nationals much, believe me, you are going to go to nationals. You're going to learn so much from everybody else, and you're going to go back to your home track almost enlightened, armed with so much of skill and knowledge that you will surprise yourself. So please, guys, the local drifters, please support the nationals. We don't want it to fall away simply because there's not enough numbers. So support the nationals. It really isn't that expensive when you compare it to competitions in other regions, parts of the world, and also to the world championship. Believe me, it's affordable, and it'll do your drifting a hell of a lot. Um, Yeah, sorry, just to go back to Young's comment here where he says they will crack the system and get fast anyways. Is in response to my comments about the track in Cape Town. Yes, that is true. That is true. Over time, though, they will uh, they will do that. But when this track that Cape Town put up for their round one was really tricky, really tricky. So it was encouraging, and quite cool to see. So that's been going on this weekend, guys. Um, and in SA, and it's definitely uh, something to note, and definitely something to be aware of. To the guys from overseas, I encourage you, come and visit SA, because this year, this time is the time where South Africa is shining in terms of RC drifting. The skill levels are coming up, and it's at a crazy pace. So this is where drifting is at the moment, guys. You guys want to be here. So it's another open invitation to all my friends and listeners from the overseas. You are all invited to come and compete at the SARC Drift Nationals later on this year. So I hope that at least a few of you guys will come. So let's see what happens there. So, in keeping with today's theme of uh, what's going on in South Africa, we have a saying in South Africa here. It's called local is lekker. Um, Lekker means, it's a slang word which we all use. Lekker means something that's good, something that's awesome. Uh, it's quite an interesting adjective to use in our daily conversation, and it describes anything and everything. So remember that term. Local is lekker. Uh, Remember how I'm pronouncing it as well. It's spelled Lekker. Local is lekker. So so that term was coined with a number of things, and one of them being to support proudly South African products, which brings me to my next part of this podcast. Um, so a lot of you guys know that SRC is based in South Africa, and the main person behind SRC is the creator and manufacturer and drifter and big brother and this incredible body builder, this amazing drifter. If I had not said that already, I'm saying it again. Um, Incredible friend and role model for me and a mentor for me as well, Vivian. So this guy has been the brains and the magic behind SRC. So when we say local is Lekker, this is one of the guys that we talk about. Proudly South African, uh, creating proudly South African products, which is known throughout the world. And I'm sure all of you guys. Yes, yes, Boris, that's right. Local lekker also means well, it can mean tasty as well. So many things. Yes, that's right, Assad. SRC is lekker. That's brilliant. Yeah, Boris. Lekker stems from the Afrikaans language, and as we know, Afrikaans has its roots in Dutch and German. So yeah, yeah, we one big family. So yeah, Vivian is the main man behind SRC, and all of you guys at some point would have come across SRC, be it physically in terms of his products, which is available in so many countries right now. I think it's like, I don't know, like 19, 20 countries, maybe more. I'm not sure. Viv, can you confirm that? But yeah, I think it's something like 19 or 20 countries. Uh, so we are incredibly proud of SRC and its achievements with getting the products uh, from a little from a little country like South Africa to have his products roughly 24. Oh my God, it's even more than I thought. And to have he just as a friend uh, with Vivian to see how SRC had grown and to know that his products are known throughout the world, from Japan all the way through to the US. Um, it's just very, absolutely incredible, very heartwarming. And I don't have the words to describe how proud I am to see how much he's achieved. But that's all I can say is that I'm so proud. I wish I had more words to describe, bro. Um, so I had a chat with Vivian about SRC, and I just wanted uh, to find out like what makes it tick, what makes him tick. I don't want it to be the typical interview like what we normally come across, like who's the main guy, when did it start, how did it start, and you know that very cliche sort of style. So I wanted to get a little bit more in depth about SRC. Um, so I asked Vivian, is SRC his main source of income, his main job, like what's going on there? So um, Vivian was employed for quite a while, and at the same time, not exactly at the same time, but later on in his whilst working, he and getting into RC drifting, he's always been quite a creative, hands-on guy. So he would slowly sort of make little products and sort of develop that. And then eventually he kept at it because creatives are like that. They never really quite satisfied with something until they reach that point where they're like, yes, okay, now this is good. So he kept with it, and so SRC was born like that. So he kept developing a few products here and there, and then kept that going, and then eventually he reached a point where things started rolling out and it started getting even better. His product range increased, and then eventually it started getting it to a point where he couldn't keep up, and he had to make a very tough choice of leaving work and working on SRC full on. Now, I'm sure for those for the so this is more actually for those people who love their hobby so much, and trying to get something going with their hobby, that they wish they could make it their full-time job. So part of me interviewing Vivian was to get that idea of what it feels like, uh, you know, making your hobby your full-time job and your source of income. So yeah, speaking to Vivian, so I asked him like, so what was that like, leaving your job to pursue SRC for full time? And his response was, um, he had at first he had a lot of fear, which is natural, especially in a country like SA, where we face a very tough economic situation. So he was quite I won't say fearful. I'm making it. I'm over exaggerating, but um, he had a lot of worry about, like, is it gonna keep going? Is it gonna fall? Am I gonna be able to keep up? For example, so by leaving work and focusing, giving his full attention to SRC, and just knuckling down and working hard at it, he's made SRC work. Um, yes, exactly, exactly, Asad. It is risky, but I think the way that Vivian had sort of set himself up kind of lent itself to what he's achieved at the moment. So he really focused on it, and focused on the products, and getting the products out. And I think what also led to the success was the quality of the products that he's produced. So this is a testament to his own creativity and his dedication to his craft, his job, and his company as well. And I asked him, regarding the products, how do you keep those products fresh? How do you keep your range going? Uh, like, how do you come up with these ideas? I know it's a little bit of an obvious question with an obvious answer, but you must remember this is a hobby, and whilst you say, "Oh yeah, I can just do a turbo," uh, you need to understand the mechanics, the dynamics, the production of that turbo. Um, so his inspiration is, of course, real life with real cars, and. So he takes a lot of inspiration from the race cars, and he does a lot of research. He also goes back and he looks at his older products to see how he can improve on that. So he's constantly on this creative journey, looking around and looking at different things, and what he can implement into scale that will add value to the market. So that's really inspiring. Um, yes, absolutely. Vivian's passion to his craft is, uh, for me personally, it's unrivaled. Uh, I haven't seen anybody so dedicated uh, to this business like Vivian, producing these products and making sure that these products are out there and reaching the people. And I got to give it to the global community as well for supporting his venture. Um, so I asked him also, like, there's so many products on the market. similar products, over fenders, oil coolers, intercoolers, etc., etc., mirrors, all of these things. There's so many out there. So what sets SRC accessories apart from the competition, from what's there in the market? So the answer is a little bit of both, as in it came from Vivian and my personal experience as well. I think what makes Vivian's products really good is firstly the quality of it. Secondly, the realism and the scale of it versus the cost. I think his products are quite affordable in comparison to the competitors, and for the price you pay, when you look at the price you pay compared to the product you get, I think it's excellent value for money. Um, so that's one of the things that sets up or that competes with the rest of the market quite intensely, and I think that's why his products are known throughout the world, and why people continue to buy his products. It's good quality. It works well. It accentuates your car amazingly well, and I think it's an excellent job that he's done, that he does for SRC, and more than that, getting uh, not just SRC on the map, but also bringing an awareness to what's going on in SA, which I think is amazing. And I really wish him well on his journey, and I hope that he continues with SRC for lifetimes and generations to come, so that it's there for our kids and their kids to enjoy as well. So keep it up, Vivian. You make us all proud, dear brother. So I asked him also, what advice can you give to anybody else who's looking to go on the same journey or a similar journey, where they want to take up their hobby or take up their passion, and make that the source of income and the main sort of thing that they want to do. So his advice was simple, and I'm just gonna paraphrase a little bit here also. Um, you got to be dedicated to. You can't also just jump in and take a wild leap without carefully weighing out all the options, um, and then just working hard at it, just putting your your whole being into it, and doing the best to make it work. Yes, there's going to be setbacks, but you got to bounce back from the setbacks in order to make it work, especially working for yourself. So you can definitely do it, but you need that dedication to it. Another thing, he's he loves what he does, and although it stems from his hobby, at the end of the day, work is work. So SRC is not just a hobby orientated thing for himself. It's his job. It's work. So he treats it as such, and I think that's very important to note when you want to go out and work for yourself. So it's incredible work. His story and his journey, it really is inspiring. So and to add to that, I'd like to say whoever out there is wants to pursue the same, or wants to go on the same journey, uh, just look at Vivian's journey, and especially coming to RC Drifting. Look at the way he has conducted things, and there's a lot of things that you can pick up from there that I'm sure you can add to your own journey, that will add value and give you all the success. So a big shout out to Vivian once again, and SRC, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you on such a detailed level. I really, really appreciate it, and keep on, man, and we will keep supporting you, bro. Let's see. So Andre says, and the fact that he has examples on how to best use the products that makes it even better. Absolutely. That's actually an excellent point that Andre has made. Um, other manufacturers will include instructions on some of their products, and then expect the user to get on with it. Now, not everybody is so adept to following instructions to the T. I know sometimes I do that too. And sometimes trying to figure out, okay, how to use this, how to use that. So an encouraging thing that Vivian does is time to time he releases these tutorials on how to fit some of his products, especially some of the more tricky products. Like for example, the sliding window. So he made a tutorial video how to work that or how to fit that. So I think it's really, really cool. And yes, that's definitely one of the things that sets SRC apart. So thank you again for all the guys that's listening in. For the guys that just joined in, this is your man Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Thank you again for the support, guys. Please, I'd really, really appreciate it if you guys share the link as well. I'd like to get more people listening in. I think it'll be very cool. So the last topic I wanna speak about on tonight's podcast is a conversation I started sparking up on Facebook, where we spoke about. I asked about CS. Uh, should it make? Should it? Damn it! What did I even write? Yes, we spoke about CS. Should it make a comeback? Yes or no, and why? So I had some very, very nice comments from some of the guys here. And so let's hear it, guys. What do you guys think? CS, should it make a comeback? Yes or no? We had a few comments earlier, but I'd like to know from the guys that's watching or listening in now, if you can comment, what do you think? Yes or no? And let's listen to the reasons why. So, I know one of the guys that commented was Stefan Kroner. I hope I pronounced your name right. So he mentioned in Germany, he's like, no, CS is dead, and no one's really interested in CS in Germany anymore. And it seems to be a bit of a trend amongst the European countries, where CS is like has taken a very, very big dip, and to the point where, like he said, it's dead. CS is dead, and frankly, they don't want it to rise back from the dead. So one of the other guys commented that CS, it may be fun, but it's not quite drifting. Uh, to some extent, I would agree. If we had to go into the technicality of it, then yeah, you could say that it's like more rally style, if you wanna use that terminology, because with all-wheel drive, as you know, it's most of the time it's power sliding. I am of the different opinion that when it comes to CS and a little bit of high CS, there we have drifting. But that's just my opinion, and that's just how I feel about CS. So does it have its place in the world? Again, to some extent, I would say yes. It's a lot of fun. Some of the guys of the opinion that whilst it's fun, it's not really for competition anymore. Uh, we got a friend of mine, young. He says, again, it might be fun, and some guys find it challenging, but for competitions, no. However, we need to look into the future and the trend that's going forward, and I must agree with that. The trend and the movement is rear wheel drive. Um, that's where you want to be. Even if you drift CS, even if you enjoy CS, rear wheel drive is really where you want to be. Um, I haven't really, no one's really come out and said yes to CS, which is interesting. Okay, so a friend of mine, Gareth. Geez, this guy Gareth is also like an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to RC. I'm always and let me be a little bit fancy with the words here. I'm always like enthralled by his vast knowledge of RC and the little technical tidbits of RC, and I really love. I enjoy listening to him talk about talk about the technical side of RC. So he says, for the guys that really want a challenge, CS. For sorry for that break. So again, let me just start again. For the guys that really want a challenge, CS. For the realism, which is basically the heart of RC drifting, rear wheel drive. Also, CS means you got to try to hang with Cisco. Correct. Cisco is without a doubt one of the best CS drifters in SA, and up to this date he still drifts CS. And when you have that conversation with Cisco, he will tell you that he still has a huge love for CS. Um, Vivian also, I don't know whether he still drifts CS. Well, actually, he still does CS, even though he's focusing a little bit more on rear wheel drive, but he still drifts CS and he still does it very very well. There are a number of other RC guys who drift all wheel drive slash CS quite well in SA, but I don't know about Capetown and Joburg, but for me, the best CS drifters are Cisco and Verve. Shoot me if you will. Okay, so Andre leaves another comment here. I run rear wheel drive, or at least I try to. As you know, rear wheel drive can be a headache. I just bounce back to my CS chassis to remind myself how much fun the hobby is, and sometimes to just take a break away from the stress that rear wheel can be. Yeah, yeah, that's also a good point. A rear wheel drive can be stressing because the level of rear wheel drive is quite high. So yeah, going back to something like CS just for a bit of fun, there's nothing wrong there. Keep that going, bro. Keep it up. Um, in SA, although we've taken a big dip in all-wheel drive and CS in comparison to the other countries, we're still actually keeping it very much alive. Um, although we've been at RC drifting for close about maybe 18 or 19 years now, RC drifting in SA, we still somehow fairly new, which is which is odd. We still have a lot of new guys who come in, and they wanna drift all wheel drive or CS, and you know, with trying to grow the hobby and keep the hobby going, we have taken a stance of accepting all of them, be it 50-50, be it CS. We accept all of them because we just want to get people drifting. So for us, RC drifting is more than just getting guys to use the correct gear, but it's also about growing, maintaining, teaching, helping, and encouraging people in the hobby. So hence we still keep CS alive, because we want to get these guys going, and eventually they do convert or join in rear wheel drive. They really do, because they see for themselves how and when CS can be limiting to their skills, you know. So very very encouraging. Um, it's one of the things I've also mentioned in my past podcasts, um, where we spoke about encouraging people to get into the hobby. Like, our tactic is, come with whatever RC you have. We'll teach you how to drift. We'll show you the ins and outs. And what happens is, these guys, they pick up this skill, and then they start watching the better guys drift, and they like, hey, you know what? I want my car to drift like that. I want to drift like that. So they start looking at the better guys as role models, you know, in some sort, to some extent, role models and mentors. And the moment you identify somebody who's your role model, you want to try and follow their footsteps. So that's how we encourage our guys to come out of all-wheel drive and into rear-wheel drive. There are a few hard and fast guys who don't want to make that change, but they do see the value in rear-wheel drive. So it's really awesome. Um, and again, like I said, that's how we encourage our the guys here in SA to keep in the hobby, and also how we convert them from all-wheel drive drifters to rear-wheel drive drifters. So quite happy with with how things are going so far for this year. It's going to be a very very interesting year for RC drifting, especially in SA. And once again, for the guys that just joined in, we extend a very warm invitation to you guys to come and join us for the SARC Drift Championship happening this year at the Drift Trap in Pretoria. I will confirm the dates on my profile, on my Facebook profile tomorrow. If anybody wants to know any information, or you just want to find out about coming to SA to compete at the nationals, please just hit me up, guys. It's going to be awesome. Again, thank you everybody for listening in. This is your boy Bob Rock on the B Rock RC show. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram at Bob_Rock. I follow back. If you guys want to know any information, you guys need any help, I'm always available. All you got to do is just reach out to me, send me a message, and I will respond to you almost immediately most of the time. But yeah, I will definitely hit up and help anybody who approaches me for help. Yeah, so Sunit says, yeah, damn right, that gum is going to give me a run this year. My boy, I've already been giving you a run. So wait till round 2. Then you're really going to see. Just with that, just a quick one. Having this friendly rivalry between drifters is an encouragement for both parties to pick up their skills. Keep that in mind. So with that, I'd like to say last time, shout out to my sponsors, RC Mart and DS Racing. Shout out to my family, the Kamoa D family. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for being there for me all the time. Huge shout out to Daniel for all his help all of the time. Really appreciate it. Shout out the East Coast RC Drift Club, my fam, Llewellyn, Steve, Sunaid, Rashin, Gary, all you guys from Durban. A huge shout out to you guys. Shout out to the guys up in Joburg and Pretoria, EDC, Drift Trap, the Drift Rats, Vivian, Richard, Jean, another Richard, Rian, Rasi, all you guys. Shout out to my boys down in Capetown, Cisco, Robin, Andre, Quentin, geez, so many other guys here. Really, thank you, and thank you, everybody, for listening in. To all my friends from across from overseas, all the way from the US to Japan. Thank you all so much for all the support and for listening into the podcast. I will catch you guys next week on episode 6. Who knows what's going to happen in episode 6? Maybe something for everybody. Maybe something you can have. Maybe some merchandise. Who knows what the next week will bring. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know what's happening. Thank you again, guys. And this is, once again, this is your man Bob Rock on the B Rock RC show. Catch you next time. Oh yes, last PS, I'm uploading all the episodes onto YouTube as well. So I'll post my YouTube channel on my profile tomorrow as well. So cheers, guys. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome night. Thank you for being so awesome. And I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.